Good evening. You'll forgive me if I'm a bit distracted tonight. I'm in the middle of a large fight in Opera Omnia, and I don't want to restart it again, which is what will happen if I let it close. And I don't know how long it's going to take, and I might be ready to fall asleep immediately afterwards, or at the very least, I'd be ready to sleep before it finished processing, so I could start the upload. Anyway, today was slow. Nothing really was ever really on the table because all sources pointed to pretty rough weather coming through today, and they weren't entirely wrong. We were just lucky enough to miss most of it. Got some good wind and a decent amount of rain, but, luckily none of the hail or tornadoes that other places around us may or may not have gotten. And I say that because I just haven't. I know the storm itself did damage before it got to us, but I don't know if it had just kind of burned out in general. By the time it got to where we were, or if we just threaded the needle when it came to missing the damage. But power didn't even try to go out. Wind was something else though. Then again, just about any time wind's hitting the front of our house, it sounds a lot worse than it is. Whatever direction the wind usually blows in tends to break off of the other side of the house, so I don't usually hear it at my windows. So it doesn't take a lot. All it really takes is wind coming from a different direction, so it hits my AC a certain way. That I'm like, ooh, it's extra windy. When it could just be that it's, like I said, it's just because it's hitting my AC just right. That was fun though. And other than that, spent the day continuing to play Breath of Fire 3. It's still pretty good so far. I'm still getting used to the you have to go back to your last save thing, which I know is the rule, and the last two games were the exception, but still. You've got to be extra careful about wandering into certain parts unprepared, or even just in general. Thankfully, to compensate, saving is a good bit more generous in that you can save anywhere on the overworld where you couldn't do that in the older ones. You can also just heal anywhere on the overworld if it's for the most part. Generally, the way it treats it is you have to go through a non-overworld part of an area when you hit that section of overworld. Well, a good example is at one point in the story you have to cross a mountain to get to a new area. On your way over there, you actually have to do the crossing the mountain, but once you've done it, you can just walk around the mountain on the overworld, where it won't let you do that the first time. That kind of thing. Which is nice. Overall, I'm enjoying it. Caught up on Vinny's FTL streams today since he's been streaming it on and off again. Man, FTL is definitely one of those games that just hearing the first note of the title screen makes you kind of want to go play FTL. So every time his stream starts up and I hear that first one, I'm like, ugh, now I want to play FTL. But I never do. For some reason. And then now I'm rewatching his latest Chrono Trigger stream. Mostly because, in a good way, though, some of the music in Breath of Fire 3 was reminding me of Chrono Trigger. And in a way that it seemed like, you know, some of the same instrumentation was used, and just kind of the feel of some of the music was really reminiscent. And that's not a bad thing. Not in the slightest. Because Chrono Trigger had excellent music. It's a little weird that the sound font would remind me of it so much. But then again, I don't know much about PlayStation 1 when it comes to like its sound chip or whatever. And I guess I'm more just talking about certain strings. And in that case, you know, I guess you really couldn't expect much from just about any early tech. I meant to look into and see if they shared a composer, because I can't remember who composed Chrono Trigger. I know it wasn't Uematsu, like he did a couple of tracks, but he was not the primary composer for that game. You know what? Real quick. Well, I accidentally stopped recording. Great. That's a bit more work for me. You know, I should have just looked this up before restarting. Mitsuda, that's his name. And nothing came up. Fantastic. There we go. No. Okay. Anyway. Well, that was a mess. They do not share a composer, which I'm not surprised to learn, seeing as Breath of Fire is a Capcom property. Now this is going to take 2 passes tonight, and that's going to take even longer, because when I put clips together, I can't change the resolution, so I have to do an initial pass where that makes it all one, and then go back and do another to reduce the file size, because otherwise it's huge. It's the difference, like literally some nights there is a difference of gigabytes, especially in the longer ones. We've come this far, damn it, and I'm actually going to finish this fight because I think it's starting the processing that likes to make Opera Omnia shut down. Oh Jesus Christ, that thing just cut my HP in like half. Like max HP too. That's not cool. I wonder if that counts as HP loss. It does not. Good. Well, this is the rest of the night now. You're just going to have to deal with it. Oh, I did get one nice thing done today. Verizon was giving us some bullcrap. Long story short, we recently changed our plan at the behest of a very nice lady who reached out to us. She gave us a quote and everything. We signed on, and then of course the month that it's supposed to go into the cost is like nearly $100 higher than it's supposed to be. My mom called this morning and couldn't really get anywhere except that they said, oh, we'll compensate you for next month, but that's all we could do. And then I call and just be a sort of annoyed man, and next thing you know, I've got a guy who has who claims, we'll see if it actually sticks or not, to have nailed in the plan at the price we were quoted for the foreseeable future. Now, whether it sticks or not is, like I said, a whole different story. But it kind of pisses me off, even more so, that I was able to call and get it solved in like 20 minutes, where my mom spent about an hour on the phone getting the runaround, most likely because she is viewed as a non-tech savvy older woman, and I was a, at, at least I let them know I was kind of onto their bullshit, you know, nicely, because it was not the man I was talking. It was not his fault, and I pointed that out in the conversation. I was like, look, I've worked customer service. I want you to know very clearly, which I'm sure you do, but it's nice. It's always nice to hear. This is not aimed at you. This is more because these conversations are recorded, and they're for whoever actually pulled this crap. I said, I'm not an idiot. I called complaining about service somewhere last year, around last September, and our service has been getting steadily worse ever since, and I doubt that it's a coincidence that in that first call I was pitched the plan I was initially pitched the plan we decided to switch to about a month ago. And I said, so I'm not stupid. But bottom line is, I just wanted him to roll back to the previous plan. I said, I want us to go back on, I want to reverse the changes that we've made. And he said, I'll look into doing that. And when he came back, he said, I'm going to get you what you're on now for what you were quoted. And, I can't think of anything else other than, because Mom did the threatening to leave and all this morning too. So it wasn't just because I was like, listen, we're shopping if we can't get this fixed. Because she did the same thing this morning, but she didn't get anywhere. And tells me that Verizon was more than ready to absolutely take advantage of my mom without so much as a second thought, and that kind of just pissed me off even more about the whole thing. Because, bitch, you don't mess with my mom. I will cut you. But anyway, I finished the fight, and so I'm gonna fuck off now. Because I'm sleepy. I'll catch you all tomorrow.